Welcome back to the channel. We're back on our Spider-Man Commander Attack profile. So it's Spider-Man 2099. For blue and a red, you get a 2-3 where you can't cast it for your first 3 turns, but starting your 4th turn, you get Double Strike Vigilant 2-3, where at the beginning of your end step, if you played a land or cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, he deals damage equal to his power to any target. So we have plenty of ways to make sure we power up his power in order to deal some additional damage to our opponent. And it's only during your end step, so we want to make sure we're casting those spells during our turn. Yeah, and plenty of ways to make sure we're casting stuff from exile. Some ways to cast some stuff from the top of our deck while we're at it, but a lot of our stuff does benefit off of being able to cast stuff from exile. But yeah, that's the general overview of the deck. Let's get into it card by card. Starting us off, we have Arcane Signet for some mana, Basilisk Collar, Dot Touch, Lifelink. It does deal his damage equal to any target. So say if your opponent has like a 20/20 and everyone's just like, we need a way to remove this, you could potentially be that person to help remove it because you have that touch, and then the lifelink on top of that as well helps you gain that life while you're at it. Giri, God of Storytelling. Whenever you cast a spell, add red mana until the end of your turn. You don't lose mana at the end of your steps, allowing us to storm off just a little bit. Creatures you control have boast twice during each of your turns rather than just once. You can also transform it into this, discard a card, exile top 2 cards of your library. Maybe play those cards this turn. That's going to be the main ability that we're looking for this one, so that we can make sure that we have more cards to cast from exile, more cards to get Spider-Man 2099's ability off with. Black Blade Reforged, another way to make sure we have some additional power on Spider-Man, making it so that he has, if we have to wait till turn 4, ideally we'll have at least 4. Then we'll have to pay 3 to equip this, so we'll be doing this at least turn 5. Yeah, so say we have the 5 lands on it, that's already 7, 8, and we cast something from exile, that's 7 damage to someone. Commander's Plate, another way for some additional power and toughness onto Spider-Man. Also allows him a little bit of layer protection there. This way they can't remove him before the end of the turn. He has protection from white, green, black, all stuff that we want to see. Lightning Grease, another way give him some protection there with the Shroud. Also making so he can attack the turn he comes in, getting that real benefit off the Double Strike, because we don't necessarily need to wait until the end of our turn to deal some damage. We can just swing in for, 2 power during turn 4. Mithril Coat, another way to have that layer of protection there, making him indestructible. Shadow Spear, another way to give him Trample, Lifelink. Lifelink is super helpful once again with that ability that he has to deal damage to any target during the end of turn. This way we could gain life off that as well. Soul Ring for some additional mana. Swiftfoot Boots, once again, want to attack the turn he comes down, want to have him make sure he's protected, so that your opponent can be like, oh, so he's 12 power now, let me just use my Generous Gift. Nope, we have Hexproof on him. Sword of Fortune Frontier, take a Generous Gift to Swiftfoot Boots, then pay to exile him, but still. Sword of Fortune Frontier, let's exile some cards on the top of our library, play some additional lands, a little bit of layer protection, and some additional stats there for Spider-Man. All stuff that'll help us benefit. Sword of the Animus, that additional benefit, along with some additional lands. Talisman Creativity for a little bit of ramp on that as well. Key to the Vault, equip creature deals combat damage to a player. Look at that many cards at the top of your library, may exile a non-land card from among them, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. It's whenever equip creature deals combat damage to a player. So since he has Double Strike, you're dealing combat damage to a player twice, so you get to get 2 spells for free. Reaver Cleaver, another way to make sure you deal out combat damage, along with getting us some treasure tokens by giving him Trample. Trample plus Double Strike. Oof. Balmore, Battle Mage Captain, another way to give him some additional stats. We have quite a few instants and sorceries in this deck that give, bonus stats. So, may as well give bonus stats on top of those bonus stats. Bond, Beguiling Balladeer, another way to get some cards into exile with their plot ability in order to make sure we cast them at a later turn. Whenever you cast a spell, second spell each turn, go to your opponent's stuff. This way you can make sure that we're not getting swung in at. Kate Sid, Fortune Teller, another way to get some stuff into exile in order to cast it during that turn, and get some stat boosts on top of our creature while we're at it. So say if we can exile the Tali, You get +6/+0, and that's an 8 damage to the target at the end of turn. Or, swing in for 8. Detective's Phoenix. Not just Detective Phoenix, right? Flying Haste, +2/+2, Flying Haste. Another way you get that additional bonus there onto Spider-Man for that additional damage to deal to our opponent, along with just having flying on top of double strike and vigilance. Those are all really good abilities to have together. You can also cast it from your graveyard, allowing you to have another spell to cast from your graveyard, somewhere other than your hand for a secondary ability. Itali, Primal Storm. Another way is exile some of our opponent's stuff so that we could cast at a later turn. This will then cast for a secondary ability, and just having some free stuff is nice. Fibble Dip, Lost on the range. Ward 2, plot stuff from the top of our library. Play those cards during some later turns. Some cards that we're playing, for somewhere other than the top of our deck. Sorry, other than our hand. Flaming Tyrannosaurus, whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, deal some more burn damage, get some more +1/+1 counters onto him, and then deal some damage when he gets removed. All fun abilities for us. Inti Sensual Sun, another way to exile some cards from the top of our deck anytime we would discard a card, aka when we attack, get some +1/+1 counters onto Spider-Man, so he's even stronger, deal some more damage while we're at it. Kami Celebration, modify creatures you control, exile top card of your library, play a card this turn. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, making it so Spider-Man's powers even more, dealing more damage. Lyalia, Blade Reforged, exile top card of your library, play that card this turn. One or more cards are put into exile from your library, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. Basically allows us just more cards to cast from exile, more cards to deal some more damage to our opponent with. Liar, Disciple of Drown, way to cast our cards from our graveyard. That's somewhere other than our hand. Also makes it so our stuff can't be countered. Also makes it so our opponent's stuff can't be countered, so just be careful about when you have this on the battlefield. Lila, Holographic Assistant. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Another way to boost up Spider-Man's power. And we're not drawing that many cards, but just when we do, it's helpful. Nelfshini, way to copy our spells from the top of our deck. Maybe we had something that gives Spider-Man +3/+0, and now it's +6/+0. That's 8 damage to our opponent rather than just +5 damage. Party Thrasher. Another way to make it so it's easier to cast our stuff from exile and get more stuff to cast from exile. Professional Facebreaker. Some treasure tokens have some additional mana, some ways to cast some stuff from exile. Reality Chip allows us to cast stuff off the top of our deck, as some more other in our hand. And Wild Magic Sorcerer. First spell you cast from exile has Cascade, allowing us to, get some more stuff off the top of our deck. Oops. But on to the second half of the deck. We have our enchantments with Curiosity. Whenever an enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. We're dealing damage with a secondary ability. We're dealing damage with the double strike. That's potentially 3 cards each turn we're drawing with them. Future Flight, or enters, draw 2 cards, +2/+0 on flying. Another way to get some additional power on Spider-Man. Another way to make it so he can swing in thanks to that flying. Passionate Archaeologist, we deal some damage anytime we cast a spell from exile. We don't have to just worry about doing only Spider-Man. In theory, you could also run some damage doublers and triplers, but we don't really do that for this deck. Tavern Brawler, probably one of the most useful cards in this deck. Whenever you cast a card from exile, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile top card of your library. This creature gets +X/0 until end turn, where X is that card's mana value. You also play that card this turn. So say if we exile, what are we exiling? Flaming Tyrannosaurus. That's 7. Now he's a 9/3 with double strike. Swing him on our opponent, deal 18 damage. It's a lot of damage. If we only just need +3/+0, with, I don't know, maybe something like, oh no, it's +2/+0. Damn. Oh wait, no, but it still works because it's because we double it. Lost to the Dam. We get some extra creatures, extra blockers off of casting stuff from exile. Wild Wasteland. Another way some stuff into exile in order to cast it during a later turn. For our instance, we have an Offer You Can't Refuse for a counterspell. Arcane Denial for a counterspell. Hold the Multiverse. A little bit of draw power. Another way to cast something from exile. Blazing Crescendo. Give our creature a stat boost along with casting stuff from exile. Bulk Up. Double target creature's power until end of turn. So say if we doubled 2, that's 4. But hopefully we'll have another way to give it, like, say, +3, +1, and that's 5. Then we're at 10. Double strike, that's 20. Only one more damage. Chaos War for some more removal. Counterspell for a counterspell. Blade Blast Fireball. We're going to be trying to cast this for its from exile, dealing 5 damage to each of our opponents and each creature they control. Frantic Search for some draw power. Galvanic Iteration. Copy next. Wait, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy a spell. Choose new targets for copying. Yep, I like that. Haste Magic. Another way to give a Spider-Man additional bonus, along with having some stuff to put in exile to cast later. Monstrous Rage, some more stat boost, +3 and Trample. Also Double Strike, Vigilant, Trample. All good abilities to have together. Pocket Fire for some removal. Saw it coming for a counterspell. Foretell it in order to cast it even easier. Slip out the back. Some protection along with some +1/+1 counters, which means some additional power. Unleash Fury, double power target creature until end turn. If we do this plus what was that? Bulk Up, that's 8 power. Untimely Malfunction for some additional removal along with protection. For our sorceries, we have a board wipe, Deep Analysis for some spell we can cast from our graveyard, along with some draw power. Expressive Iteration, way to have a spell you cast from exile. Faithless Looting, some more spells cast from exile. Mystic's Mastery, a way to cast all of our instants and sorceries, all from exile, just for 8 mana. Where's that 9 mana? Where is it? Nope, that's 8. Raven Form, another spell to foretell, cast it from exile. Some removal while we're at it. Reckless Charge, another way to give creature +3/+0 in haste to make sure Spider-Man can also attack the turn he comes down. That's already 5. Then we double it, it's 10, 20. Let's see it. Vandablast for a board wipe of all of our opponent's artifacts. But that's the deck there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like the video. If you have your own comments on how you'd run the deck, leave it down there in the comment section. But thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day.